Warped Tour is ending? Oh God. What is the world coming to? I got Kylo Ren on my sock. Good evening, Internet. Well, if you're watching this video, you probably already heard the news. Warped Tour is coming to an end. And I kind of have a theory behind that, but that's not what this video is about. This video is the bands that I want to see on next year's Warped Tour, because you know I have to go to it. If it's the last one ever and there's good bands, I'm there. So, on the main stage, I would like to see All Time Low and on the Mutant stage for Monster Energy, for their new soda, Mutant, if they're still promoting Warped Tour next year. I know they did last year. I'd like to see these guys right here, Asking Alexandria. I would love to see them play. I know Attila played last year on the main stage of the Warped Tour. Anyways, so All Time Low on the biggest stage, because they're probably the biggest band on my list. I listen to more indie music. Asking Alexandria on the metal stage, the main stage. And let's think of some other bands. I'd love to see Taking Back Sunday or some type of band like that. I would also like to see Bless the Fall play again. I think they're really good for people that like the singing and the screaming together. I'd like to see Good Charlotte. I would really like to see Good Charlotte play. Again, they might be a little bigger than All Time Low, but I mean, they're both huge. And they're both really good bands. I would like to see, would have used my all-time favorite band. The Used are one of the first big underrated bands, meaning they got big but they flew under the radar for years. They were big for a little while with Take It Away, was on MTV, I remember. But MCR was so huge that they kind of just flew way over them. And to be honest, I like the Used's music more than I like MCR's music. But again, I would really like to see the Used play Warped Tour, and I would really like the Used to bring back Quinn Allman and to go back to do an album like their early stuff. But that's a whole different story. Pierce the Veil. Pierce the Veil is a really good band. I know they have played Warped Tour before, but yeah, last year, was it last year? Last year, 2016, Sleeping with Sirens played, and I really think it would be cool if they could get Sleeping with Sirens and Pierce the Veil to play together on the same stage and play the same songs, or play each other's songs, you know, like have Vic Fuentes play the guitar and sing with Kellen Quinn, and I think that would be really cool. I'd like to see more pop punk come back. It's a lot of screamo bands. It's a lot of these, well, metalcore bands, screamo, or metalcore, as it's technically called, but many people just call it screamo. Other bands that I'd like to see, Green Day, but they're too big probably for Warped Tour now. I know a lot of these bands started out on Warped Tour, and it's terrible to see them go, but it's just sad. I'm really sad about it. I can't miss it this year. I can't. I just can't. It's a huge thing for me. I only went to one Warped Tour. It was 2016. My family usually doesn't have money to do concerts and stuff like that. But this year, I got a Christmas present of money, and I'm going to save it for a ticket. And that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully I can go. But anyway, back to the basic subject here. I would love to see Falling in Reverse play some of the earlier stuff. Their newer stuff is like really good. I mean, they did a screamo album, you know, screamo metalcore album. That was good. It was pretty poppy. Then they moved into this techno, dubstep, electronic, like rap, pop thing, and I wasn't a fan of that with Fashionably Late. And then they did Just Like You, which I love. That's a great song. And now Ronnie's like doing his own thing with it, and he's doing songs like F You and All Your Friends, Fuck You and All Your Friends. And yeah, so I'd love to see Falling in Reverse play Warped Tour again. I would really like to see The Word Alive again, because they blew my mind when I went to Warped Tour for the first time in 2016. They were the first band that played in Orlando, which is the date that I went to. And wow, Telly can really sing, and he can really scream, and he can hit both sides of the spectrum like that. I mean, he can sing really well and then get into the really heavy, hardcore screaming. I love The Devil Wears Prada, and they've gotten a lot heavier. But I think a lot of the things that we forget about are some of the lower, like not as popular bands that haven't played Warped Tour yet. Like bands that are on the big band's labels as well, but haven't gotten the exposure, like Veil of Maya, Animals as Leaders. There's so many good bands on Sumerian Records. After the Burial, I believe, is on Sumerian Records. And I'd like to see these bands on there as well, playing Warped Tour with the bigger bands from those records. I mean, Asking Alexandria is probably the biggest band on the label right now, and yeah, they're the biggest, I'd have to say, and hands down. I mean, everybody knows Asking Alexandria, but people don't always know Veil of Maya or After the Burial, and these bands just get swept under the rug, and I just don't think that's right. It's a sad time. Now, in 2016, Sum 41 played, and they were a pop-punk band, and they were bigger. That was a bigger band that they got to play. In 2017, I think they screwed up the set list, or not the set list, but the bands that played. I don't think that the bands that played were all that impressive, because they had either played Warped Tour before, or they were bands that nobody's ever really heard of. As far as acoustic bands, though, I think Never Shout Never should play again. I think that was a good choice. Say We Can Fly is also good. You might also want like more indie emo bands that are acoustic to play, like Bright Eyes, like the Spill Canvas, bands like those. Say We Can Fly is another band that's really good as well, that play acoustically. There's just a lot of really good music. You have to dig for it, but it's out there. I think I See Stars should play again. They have like a dubstep type feel to them, electronic with hardcore, with the metal, and it just kind of goes together. I really liked I See Stars, but I think they should bring back Zachary Tyler Johnson on the screams and keyboards. I don't want to miss any huge bands. I love music so much, and I took a hiatus from writing music to make my book, and I will do a separate video on how to publish a book. If you also are a fan of music and want to publish a book, now my book's not about music. I will eventually write one about music, probably. It is incorporated into my book, though. It's for people with mental illness, but it's like coping skills, like learning to play the guitar can help combat depression, things like that. But not to get off topic, to name my last band, and remember, I'm doing this off the top of my head, but if I had to pick one last band, it would be Brand New or Mayday Parade. Well, both those bands. I would put Brand New on the set list, but Mayday Parade would be my top pick out of the two of them. Brand New, I don't know a lot of their music, so I'd want to hear it. But I know I'm a huge fan of Mayday Parade. Not all their songs, but some of their songs are priceless, and they're so good. I really love Mayday Parade, and I think that Mayday Parade should be on the bill for next year. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you click down below and subscribe, you can get robbed. The Devil Wears Prada.